Okay, in this module, we're going to talk about types of forces. So first one, let's give a definition of force. Nung bata tayo, no, laging sinasabi sa atin that force is either a push or a pull, which is actually an incomplete definition. Kasi yung push or pull na yon ay nangyari lang because yung object na pinag-uusapan natin ay nagkaroon ng interaction with another object. And ang mali doon sa definition na push or pull ay akala natin yung mga object na gumagalaw lamang ang nakaranas or nakakaranas ng force, which is wrong, gaya ng nakita natin during the previous module. Like for example, this physics book, is also experiencing force kahit siya ay stationary or at rest. Kita natin this arrow represents the gravitational pull of the earth on the book. And ito ay kinakancel out ng normal force, which is the interaction between the book and the surface where it is resting. Ngayon, kapag tinulak natin tong book to the right, kaya siya nag-accelerate to the right, pwede ulit siyang makaranas ng isa pang uri ng force, which is this one. The 5 newtons that you're seeing here. This is the frictional force, opposite the direction of the motion of the object. Again, this frictional force is the interaction also between the book, the moving book, and the surface kung saan siya gumagalaw. Which brings us to the next slide, which is on contact forces. Sa module na to, ika-categorize natin yung forces into two. It may either be contact or non-contact forces. So contact forces first, from the word itself, dapat may physical contact yung dalawang object. Okay? And because of this physical contact or interaction, nagkaroon ng force na resulta. For example, you have a box. Tinulak mo siya gamit ng kamay mo, nagkaroon ng interaction ng iyong kamay, and then that object or that box, well, you have a force. That's the applied force. Nag-accelerate siya to the right, interaction between the box and this surface, that's frictional force. Interaction between the box and again with the surface kung saan siya nakapatong, that's normal force. Okay? O, halimbawa, may tali ka and you chose to pull the box using the rope. Interaction between the rope and the box, that's tensional force. But of course, there are also non-contact forces, di ba? Tulad na nakita mo kanina, yung box, di ba meron siyang gravitational force? For example, you have the sun and the earth. Di ba, they are light years apart. Pero, umiikot yung earth sa orbit around the sun. It orbits around the sun dahil ng gravitational pull of the sun sa earth. And in the same way, umiikot yung moon sa earth dahil sa gravitational pull ng earth sa moon. So kahit hindi sila magkadikit, yung mga heavenly bodies na yan, they're experiencing gravitational force. Also, you have magnetic force, di ba? Di ba yung mga magnet, kaya nilang hilahin yung mga metallic objects papunta sa kanila. You have north and south. Okay, akala natin ng bata magic yan kasi gumagalaw mag-isa yung halimbawang pako dahil may magnet pala. And then, in the atomic level, for example, you have the nucleus of the atom sa gitna. Yung mga electrons, they are negative particles or negative subatomic particles na na-attract sila sa isa't isa with the proton and the electrons. So these are all non-contact forces. Although, hindi sila nagkakadikit or hindi sila magkadikit at first, nakaranas sila ng push or pull. or attraction and repulsion due to the presence of each other. So this is just the summary. Alin yung mga forces na contact forces and alin yung mga forces na non-contact forces or action at a distance forces. Now, let's clarify this. Ang force ay isang vector quantity and ang unit na gagamitin natin ay Newton from Isaac Newton. N ang kanyang shorthand unit, and then if you are going to break this down, Newton is actually kilogram times meter per second squared. Okay? So dahil ito ay isang vector, you can use vector arrows to represent them in a vector diagram. So again, just to remind you, kapag vector arrow, kung saan siya nakapoint, that also suggests the direction of the force. So dahil ito ay upwards ang arrow na to, alam natin na upwards yung normal force. And this one is downward, so we know that gravitational force is downward or it is falling down on the book. Alam din natin na yung length ng arrows ay suggestive of its magnitude ng forces na yun. So, pantay yung haba ng dalawang arrow na yun kasi nga magka-cancel out yung dalawa. Okay? So, balance yung forces. Kaya, yung physics book na yan ay kayang i-maintain yung kanyang state of motion or hindi siya nagsisimulang gumalaw at rest lang siya. Okay, let's go to the types of forces. First one is the applied force. So, tulad ng sinabi natin kanina, applied force. You have a box, pwede mo siyang itulak, nag-apply ka ng force sa kanya, applied force. Halimbawa, meron siyang handle, pwede mo siyang hilahin, applied force. Ito yung ating shorthand notation sa applied force. F sub APP or F sub app. So, syempre, halimbawa, meron kang bigger box and then meron kang smaller box. If you applied force sa A, syempre yung A, mag-apply din ng force sa B. Okay? Next one is the gravitational force. Ngayon, ang gravitational force is also called weight. So, ang gravitational force lagi ang downwards. So, laging arrow down ang i-drawing mo kapag meron kang gravitational force. Ang ating shorthand notation dito ay F sub G or W. Kahit pa nasa inclined plane yung object, yung kanyang naranasang gravitational force or weight, we have a formula for gravitational force. So, F sub G is equal to mass times acceleration due to gravity. Okay? So, kapag given ka ng mass, you can easily solve for the gravitational force. And, syempre, depende din pala kung saan planeta siya or heavenly body siya nandun. Because of course, if you are in the moon, iba yung value ng G na gagamitin mo. But, if you are on Earth, you will use 9.8 meter per second squared as your G or gravitational or acceleration due to gravity. Okay, the next type of force is the normal force or quote-unquote support force. Maranasan to ng object kapag siya ay nakapatong dun sa isang surface, no? Kanina, tulad ng sabi natin, yung box na to, it is experiencing an upward force due to its contact with the surface, with this surface or with this floor, for example. So, meron siyang upward na normal force. Pero, halimbawa, meron kang, this is a wall, and then sinandal mo yung isang box dyan, sinecure mo siya in place kasi naglagay ka dito ng applied force. Hindi upward yung mararanasan yung normal force, no? Ang mararanasan yung normal force ay paganyan to the left. Tandaan mo na kapag normal force ay lagi siyang perpendicular with the surface. Okay? Yung kanyang direction ay laging perpendicular sa surface. Kung ang gravitational force ay laging downwards, ang normal force ay laging perpendicular and away from the surface. So, like this one. So, when I say perpendicular, I mean to say na, yan, meron siyang 90 degrees. Yan parang L, yung nabubuo mong shape or letter. So, this is the surface. This is the direction of the force. This is the surface. This is the direction of the force, 90 degrees, and away from the surface. Okay? Kapag ganitong case na nakapatong lang siya sa surface, usually, nagka-cancel out yung ano, di ba? Yung normal force saka yung weight. Sorry. Yung normal force at saka yung weight ay nagka-cancel out. So, kapag nag-solve ka ng weight, mass times g, yun na din yung ano, yun na din yung kanyang normal force. Okay?